I don't know who needs to tell you this, but you're not spiritual. You're just getting really spooky. Welcome back to Sis Woke Up. This is the channel for any woman who is trying to elevate themselves spiritually and just advance in life. So let's get right into it. Today we're talking all about how spirituality is slowly warping into the new religion, and it's just as controlling as religion. Now, if you're on this page or on this channel, you've seen or you know that religion can be very controlling, very misogynist, just very patriarchal bullshit wrapped up in one, right? So it's a controlling religion. It controls women. And men can listen to this. However you identify, you can listen to this. It's totally perfect. But me being a woman, my message is for women because a lot of women are still, unfortunately, under the foot and chokehold of patriarchy. So, a lot of people do turn to spirituality because a lot of people are just looking for a way out. A lot of people are looking for something new, something fresh. A lot of people are looking for something to follow because one thing I've noticed about spirituality, one thing I've noticed about it is you have to learn how to become the master of your own soul. And if you are not, if you don't know yourself, then you are literally going to follow the next best thing. You are going to follow anything that just sounds good, right? So let's get into it. Let's get into a few talking points. The illusion of freedom. Okay. So a lot of people leave organized religion to seek freedom, but they now end up in a belief system that'll tell them how to think, how to live, how to eat, how to ascend, right? The new spiritual dogma is if you're not high vibrational, then you're failing, right? But we are going to talk about that in another video because life is not just always ups, right? Life is not always going to be 100% up 100% of the time, right? Sometimes you need that balance. It's all about yin and yang. It's all about, you know, where you are on that spectrum. Okay, so a lot of people think that, okay, now that I'm going to do this spirituality thing, it's going to be, it's going to change my life and fix my life. Yes, it is. But you also have to have that balance within, like I was saying previously. And if you don't have that, you're going to fall for the next best thing. And a lot of things are getting culty. Okay. A lot of things are getting really, really culty. All right. So let's get into the next point. Shame and guilt are still present. They are just being rebranded. Okay. So instead of sin, what we're talking about is, oh, they have bad energy. Stay away from that person. They have bad energy. Maybe they just had a bad day. Maybe they just don't feel like talking to you. Maybe they just want to be left alone, right? Or being unaligned, or your chakras are blocked, or you need to do X, Y, and Z, right? See, that's the thing. If you take nothing else from this video, please take this. When there are so many rules and restrictions to it, it gets a little culty. That's what I always say. Okay? When there's so many dichotomies, oh, if you're not good, then you're bad, or if you're this, then you're that. When you start putting too many rules and too many labels on it, you're you're just repackaging it into a religion. Period. Okay, that's literally what it is. So now there's people walking around feeling ashamed for being sad, being angry, or anxious because you're low vibrational and you don't want to spread those bad vibes. Okay, be that as it may, you might just be having a bad day. Everyone has bad days. I have really, really good days. I have really, really bad days where I don't want to see anyone. I don't want to be around anybody. And if I have to, then, those people are just going to have to kind of understand. And if they don't, they just don't, And when I get back to who I normally, quote unquote, am, then we'll figure it out from there, right? So don't be scared about all those labels and words like being unaligned and bad energy and block chakras. It gets culty when you start putting too many labels on things. Now, what we're going to talk about next is influencers as gurus. Okay. So a lot of influencers, what they do, what I notice, if they're not going to take the traditional, let's use God, let me transform my content into Christian content, then they'll go into the spirituality side, right? And they'll start using buzzwords like monitoring spirit and high vibrational and, just random weird stuff like that, right? So a lot of time, these social media spiritualists, they mimic these religious leaders, okay? They don't want you to question them. They're charismatic. Oh my gosh. Sometimes when I hear certain people talk, I'm like, you sound just like a preacher. You know that, oh, and and yes, and this, and that. You know what I'm saying? And they profit off of their followers' insecurities. Case in point, not calling anyone out specifically, but case in point, somebody can say something like, oh, here we go. Um, Woman, you want a high vibrational or high value man. So you have to be at a high vibration too. No, sometimes when it comes to relationships, people just like what they like. And if you're lucky to meet somebody in a space and time, then that's when you meet them. It's not about you raising your vibrations and that'll vibrate somebody to you. You can have the best of vibrations, but nobody is in that space and time for you, right? When it's your moment, it's just your moment. Okay. Sometimes we shouldn't read too deep into things. That's when psychosis walks in, right? All right. Another thing, the Love and Light brand. Okay. The Love and Light, it becomes a brand instead of a belief. Love and light should be something inside of you, not something that you brand yourself as. That's just like somebody putting God or God first or Jesus in their bio or their profile, but they are the worst person known to man, right? So you can't just walk around with the brand of love and light. You actually have to be that in your day to day when no one is watching, right? Okay. So next is the spiritual peer pressure. Oh my. Okay, we rarely talk about this, but there is a subtle pressure to talk the talk, right? Use the right language, use the right crystals, meditate daily, right? Because if you don't, then, oh, you're unevolved, or how far are you on your spiritual path, right? That reminds me of a time when, look, I used to be heavily brainwashed in religion, right? Thankfully, we're past those days. But people would judge you in churches if you didn't know certain songs, if you didn't know, you know, which book in the Bible to flip to, different things like that. So don't let people judge you, and you shouldn't be judging people, if they're not awakened, quote unquote, yet, right? So it's like either you fit in or you're not awakened. No, people are on different walks. And an epiphany that I had today was, we all know this, but your walk is never ending, because there's so much that I've learned just in the past, I'll say the past year or two. But I sat down with myself today and I was like, but I have so much more to learn. I feel like I know everything, but I'm like, there's so much more for me to learn, right? All right. So let's get into the next point. Fear based control dressed as wisdom. This is the nitty gritty of it. This is how spirituality is slowly turning into religion. And it's very dangerous, okay? Instead of hell, it's karma or the law of three, which we will get into. We will get into it. But that's another video for another day, okay? Instead of judgment day, it's, oh, your vibrations will attract bad things and, bad people. Like, come on now. Come on now. Or people are just afraid to have a bad thought, right? Because they don't want that bad thought to manifest into something horrible, right? Which is not true at all. Sometimes, our brains are just wired to move and think, and, especially if you have something like ADHD or something, your brain is non stop, always thinking, moving, and vibrating, right? So it's okay to lighten up a little bit. That's just like thinking about, oh, if I die today, am I going to go to hell because I did something bad and I wasn't forgiven, or this priest didn't forgive me, or whatever else bullshit they have made up? No. You have to learn how to, again, yin and yang. You have to learn how to chill out on that negative self-talk. Instead of having those negative thoughts, chill out on the negative self-thought. Okay? Next, commodification of healing. What does that mean? Oh, everything has a price, right? Everything has a price. Mm. Past life readings, $100. You want some root work, $200. You want this. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that it's bad. Um, it's not bad to be paying for spiritual work. It's not bad. But when everything has a price, I'm like, really, everything? Like, you can give out some free stuff now. Like this page or this channel, it's going to be free for the most part. Unless you want something personal, you want a personal reading, or you want a personal working or advice or consult, then yeah, that would have a price. And it's not going to be a crazy number, because as a spiritualist, you have to understand you're not like people in churches. You're not like people in regular religion that suck people dry and don't care about the economy, and all you care about is, yourself and your family, and it stops there. No, you have to think about the people that you're helping. These people are desperate, and you cannot take advantage of that. And if you're being taken advantage of, do what I did, which is what I'm doing now. I found a lot of free resources, right? How can I do spells on my own? How can I do different things on my own, right? Going on Google, what candle is used for this? Like, I learned a bulk of things by myself, then other things just came from spiritual work and spiritual interpretation, right? So everything does not have to be sold, because those that can't afford it, they're going to feel like, okay, well, what do I do now? Who do I turn to? So you guys really have to stop doing that. You guys have to stop using people like that, right? All right. And then the last few points, we have ascension hierarchies. Like, oh, this person is on this level, and this person is radiating at this, and this person is 5D, or it just gives holier than thou, right? It gives holier than thou. It gives classes. And the thing about spirituality is there's no judgment, I found. I mean, you can't judge anybody for anything, honestly. Like, once you reach that level of spirituality, when you're like, okay, you don't even have it in you to judge anybody, because you know that you yourself are literally nothing at the end of the day, right? You're everything, but at the same time, you're nothing. Yeah, that's another video for another day as well. And then we have questioning the seen as unhealed. Or, sorry, questioning is seen as unhealed. So, like in religions, right? If you question, or they think that questioning is resisting or not doing the work, or you're still in the ego, and you haven't given yourself to whatever God or whatever deity, right? I don't believe in that at all, and you should not either. That is the highest form of self manipulation, because you should ask questions. You shouldn't go to church or the mosque or wherever and they pull out the Quran or the Bible. I'm just picking out the most popular religions. And you say, hey, but this doesn't make sense. I didn't know that animals can talk, because my dog don't talk back to me. My snake don't talk back to me. So what's up with that? And you should get an answer. Not oh, just go into this chapter of this book and read that verse. No, give me an answer. If somebody asks me, hey, why do you pull tarot cards? I would give them an answer. And just if you're wondering, that answer would be, Sometimes we need a clear or clearest possible answer to interpret our dreams, to interpret someone's actions. And I've put my energy into these cards and I trust them. Right? It's just a simple answer. That's how I see it. It shouldn't be like, oh, you're questioning my spirituality. You must be whatever. No, it gives controlling. And then we have the last two. No accountability, right? Just vibes. So this is definitely harmful behavior because it's dismissed with, well, that's just your projection of it. That's just you, dodging real accountability. That's just your mirror. Again, it ties into the last point. No, sometimes we just want to know what's going on. People have questions. People are entitled to their opinions and their questions. It's not necessarily challenging you. So if someone says, why do spiritual people, you know, we can use the tarot cards again, but why do you meditate? Why don't you just pray? Well, I would tell you why. It's not about projection or, oh, prayer didn't work for me or whatever, whatever. No, meditation just works for me and it just works immediately. Praying, and I would say, tying back to the last point, praying to me is like begging. Meditation is being. Okay. And last but not least, okay, let's just tie everything up. Okay. So, what do we do now? Now that you've gotten this information, what are you going to do and take from it? That's what I hope happens with any video, any content that you see from Sis Woke Up, right? What do we do now with this info? So, I just want to let you know that healthy spirituality allows for questioning, nuance, imperfection, and your own individual path. Okay, everyone is different. Everyone is different. I recently took a trip, not on a plane, but another type of trip, right, of the mushroom variety. And something I realized is that we are all just nothing but vibrations. And I know a lot of people like to say, this is totally off script, you guys, but I know a lot of people like to say, we're in a simulation. I don't think it's a simulation, or what I found from that trip was it wasn't a simulation. We're literally just vibrations happening. Okay. And not like, oh, vibrations that you can feel, but vibrations you can feel, see, everything. We're all just vibrations, right? So everyone is different, but we all are a part of the bigger picture individually, if that makes sense. Alrighty, and last but not least, it's okay to have spiritual tools, okay? But don't replace one cage with another. If you're coming from a harsh or strict religion that you had to dress a certain way, you can only read or watch certain movies or certain music, and it can't be secular. Don't put yourself into a box, right? Don't get into spirituality and say, well, I can only do this, or I'm only going to follow this practice, or I'm only going to be a white witch. I'm only going to be a hoodoo person. I'm only going to be, you know, what else do they have out here? I'm only going to be a love and light. I'm only going to be a rule of three person. Like, you really have to just do your own thing, honestly. Do your own thing, because again, once you start putting too many rules and limitations on something, it becomes very culty and very religious, right? Literally, that's what it becomes. So just do your own thing and be yourself. Okay? So I do hope you all enjoy this video podcast wherever you're hearing it. I will be uploading more. I'm kind of getting to the point where I'm just uploading daily and I kind of like it. So hopefully we keep it going. I do see it going. If you have any suggestions, anything you need to know, you can drop it down in the chat below in the comment section. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share this video, share this page. Let's get to 100 subscribers. I might do a special giveaway when we get to 100 subscribers, okay? So I hope you like this video. This was Sis Wake Up. I'm glad that you're woke. Now let's get to work.